Once, a very sad person went to a monk and said, "I am very unhappy with my life. I can't make my wife, children, and family happy. I can't do anything for myself either. Sometimes I even think about ending my life. You do so many good things, so much meditation. Can you tell me a way to get out of my bad times? My time is very tough. It's very difficult for me to arrange for 2 square meals a day. Now, please tell me how I can stay alive and keep my family happy. Please tell me a simple way so that I can understand easily because I'm not very educated. If you talk about big things, maybe I won't understand." Hearing this, the wise monk smiled and said, "You can do one thing." Then, pointing ahead, he said, "There is a temple on that high mountain, and near that temple, there is a house of ants where thousands of ants live. It might sound strange to you, but those ants spoil the ground of the temple. They destroy the fertile soil, which causes no trees or grass to grow there. Do one thing after that. I will answer your questions. Go to that mountain for 7 days and destroy the house of those ants. Whenever you see an ant house around the temple, destroy it there. But remember, no ant should die while breaking the house." Trying to understand this, the young man left. Perhaps he didn't understand why the wise monk was doing this. Then he thought that the wise monk is doing injustice to those ants, destroying their house, causing them harm. Who will do such a thing? But still, believing in the wise monk's words, he started going to the mountain from the next day. When he reached the mountain on the first day, he saw many ants collecting their food. All the ants were walking in lines and picking up tiny grains of food and taking them to their homes. Seeing this, the young man's heart softened. He thought that they are working so hard to fill their homes, and I will destroy their homes. How bad they will feel. But then he remembered the words of the wise monk and started breaking the ant houses. The line that was moving until now got scattered, and they started running here and there to save their lives. After a while, the house broke, and all the ants had run away to hide here and there. After doing this, the young man returned to his home with a sad heart. He was troubled, sad, and filled with regret. Then he lay on his bed at night and thought that now the house of those ants has been destroyed. What will be the benefit of going back there now? Because the monk had told me to destroy the ant houses, and I have done that. But then, after thinking for a while, he decided to go back the next day. And the next morning, he woke up and went back to the same mountain. When he reached the mountain, he arrived at the same place where he had destroyed their house the previous morning. But he was shocked to see that the ants had rebuilt their home in the same spot again. Now they were busy gathering supplies for their home again. Seeing this, the man thought about how foolish the ants were. They knew that their home had been destroyed just yesterday, yet they had rebuilt it in the same place. He started laughing at them. But then, remembering the monk's words, he began destroying their home again. Once again, the ants panicked and started running around to save their lives. In no time, their home was destroyed again, and the man felt a bit satisfied, thinking, "This time, I have destroyed their home so well. Now they won't be able to build their home here again." So, before leaving, he poured cold water on the spot where their home was to prevent the ants from building their home there again. Feeling accomplished, the man returned home again. While sleeping that night, he thought again about whether the monk was doing the right thing. Is destroying someone's home making a wise person proud? What if the monk is indeed a wise person? What if he is making a fool out of me? But then he resolved to finish his work first. Only then would he understand why the monk was making him do this. With this thought in mind, he fell asleep. The next day, he set off again towards the same mountain. When he reached there, he was surprised to see that there was no house this time. All the ants had fled from there. Now he wondered what was the point of coming here every day since the ants had already changed their home. The monk had asked him to come for 7 days, But today was only the third day. What would be the point of coming back for the remaining 4 days? With this thought in mind, he decided to go straight to the monk and tell him all the news. As he turned back towards the monk's hut from the mountain, suddenly his eyes fell on another house made by ants. It means the ants themselves had made that house. And now the ants were already living in their new home. This new home was not far from their old home. When the man saw that house, he thought maybe the monk knew that the ants would change their home from here to somewhere else. That's why he asked me to come for 7 days. With this thought, he decided to go and destroy their new home as well. When he reached there, the ants were already busy with their work. They were gathering food for themselves and storing it in their new home. Seeing this, the man thought, what kind of creatures are these ants made of? I keep trying to drive them away from here, but they keep building their home right here. He thought they must not know that I won't let them settle here at all. These ants look so small, yet they don't give up. It's surprising. This time, he started destroying their home again with great care. It took a little longer because he had to make sure not to harm any ants. The monk had already set this condition, so he was destroying the homes of those ants with great care. But eventually, he destroyed that home too. After destroying that home, he felt even more sorrowful. This time, he was more sorrowful than before because he had also destroyed their new home. He wasn't allowing those ants to settle anywhere. Now he started considering himself a demon or a devil. But still, remembering the monk's words, he decided to return home with a heavy heart. Before sleeping at night, he thought once again about how much cruelty he was inflicting on those ants. Now, I won't be able to do more cruelty than this. With this thought, he decided to take some flour from his house the next day and go to the same mountain again. Today, he felt compassion and empathy towards those ants. He wanted to help them. And when he reached there, the ants were again busy building their new home. With great compassion, he brought flour for those ants and fed them. He continued doing this for the next 7 days. Every morning, he would go and feed the ants with flour from his hands. After 7 days, the young man goes to the monk and says sorry. He says, "Monk, forgive me. I tried very hard to destroy those ants' home. I destroyed their home not just once, but 4 times. After that, I couldn't gather the courage to destroy their home again. I understand that I didn't complete your task, and in return, you won't even tell me a way out of my bad time. But I don't care. I feel what I did was right. So, I'm taking your permission and going back home. Please allow me to go back." Hearing this, the monk smiles and says, "Oh son, where are you going? Stop, have some water, stay for a while, and then leave." Saying this, the monk brings water for the young man. After giving him water, the monk asks him, "Tell me, why couldn't you destroy those ants' home? Those ants are small, and you are so big. Yet, you couldn't destroy the small ants' home. Where is your strength, your power?" Responding to this, the young man says, "Hey Mahatma, I destroyed their home many times. Once, in my anger, I even harmed those ants. But the day I harmed them, I realized why I was harming them. Why was I causing them so much pain? And from that day onwards, instead of causing harm, I started helping them." Hearing this, the monk says, "This is the lesson to learn. A small ant teaches us a message of life. I didn't send you to destroy those ants' home. I sent you so you could learn something from those ants. What did you learn from those ants? What can you tell me?" After hearing the young man's entire story, the monk smiles and says, "Son, the first lesson you can learn from these ants is that no matter how many times you tried to destroy their home, how many times you tried to harm them, they never gave up. If they had given up, those ants wouldn't have been there. Life is active work, but humans give up after facing failure once or twice. They become hopeless and stop trying in life. Some people even end their lives. But have you ever seen an animal end its life? No. It keeps struggling for its life. But on the other hand, humans end their lives after facing failure once or twice. Life is active work. Life is about doing deeds. Death is the ultimate rest, the final rest. So, never leave work before death, because after death, you will go into ultimate rest. So why live work before that? Why are you giving up? If one house breaks, try to build another. Keep trying, and those who try never lose. You have seen it from those ants. You have seen how small those ants are and how big you are. But their determination is so big, so strong that even after their house breaks so many times, those ants never give up. The second lesson is that whenever bad times come upon us, we feel like this time will never pass. We think this time will ruin my life. Never let me live. And with these thoughts, we stop trying. But think for yourself. Nature may harm us again and again. But until we keep getting up and trying again, nature will kneel before us one day. It will become merciful towards us and give us everything we ever wanted. You saw that you went to destroy those ants' home. But later, you started giving them grains and flour. Why did you become merciful to them? Because you saw that those ants never gave up, no matter what. So, remember two things. Keep doing active work, and one day nature will surely give you the result of your work. So, friends, I hope you have learned a lot from this story. See you in the next video.